Hey everybody, Zach here with GDC LLC, and today is going to be a little bit different of a video. And it's not going to be the traditional one where I walk through and show you the project that I'm working on and take you through different things that I'm dealing with on the project. I actually am starting a video series about how to become a general contractor. And before I go into some talking points of this video, I just want to lay out some of the things that I want to accomplish with this video and the series moving forward. And I think this could be really beneficial to a lot of people because I know personally I watched countless hours of YouTube through my years from the age of like 18 all through my 20s, and just trying to digest every bit of information on learning skills and different trades to furthering my knowledge on business. And there's so much really good information out there in the world, and the only thing that I was not able to find was a lot of good information on becoming a general contractor. There's really good resources to figure out how to have a general contracting business and like the sales process and like some business things on the back end of like making money and profit and everything like that. But it's really hard to find a lot of good, valuable information about just real people talking about what it's actually like to be a general contractor and the steps that you can take to actually become one. Because I do not want to gloss over any information through this series, and I don't want to make it seem like it's easy to become a general contractor, because I'll tell you right now, it is not easy to become a general contractor. There's a lot of laws that you have to follow. There's a lot of insurance that you need to have. There's a lot of licensing that you need to follow. And then also on the business side of things, you need to have an entity that you're working in, and you need to have certain standards that you need to adhere to with your business to actually get clientele that is going to want to actually work with you. You can't just be driving around in a beat up truck and expect to get really good jobs. You're going to be just on the hamster wheel of just chasing down these small little jobs and working for clients that you probably really don't want to be working for. If you do want to enter into the realm of general contracting and broadening your horizon of working on big projects to scale, then there is a lot of things that you need to go through. And I by no means am a professional at this. I'm learning as well, and the best way to learn is through your failures, and I fail all the time, and I can admit that, but I take every one of my failures as a lesson to where I can learn a little bit more information and just better what I'm actually doing and provide more value to people. And that's the ultimate goal, is to if you want to be a good general contractor, you want to provide a service and a value to your customer. And people are really good at sniffing out if you're not legit and you're not there to provide them that good service and value. If you're just there to get a paycheck from them, they're going to know it within the first couple weeks. And there's a lot of steps that you need to take to prevent people from feeling that way towards you. But with that intro, I would like to talk a little bit about what this video in particular is going to be. This video is just the very basics of what a general contractor is, and if it's something that you're interested in becoming, because maybe it doesn't even fit the criteria of what you want to do. And then also some of the ways that you can take steps to start to become a general contractor. So very firstly, I would like to talk about what is the purpose of a general contractor. Why do people reach out and want to work with a general contractor? And in my experience, the way to boil it down, the easiest way I can, is that people want to give you a large chunk of their money, and they want you to manage that money for a project. And I'm talking about being a general contractor for the construction industry. And so people would be hiring me and giving me a big chunk of their money, and I divvy that money up between subcontractors. I manage where the money's going, what products are being purchased, and ultimately creating the project for them within their budget. And because you have to, everybody has a budget. Nobody's just, you're not always going to be working for Rockefellers or something. People have a cap to what they can spend, and fleshing that out in the beginning is critical to having a successful project. Because the worst thing that could happen is that the client says, I'm all out of money, and the project's not done. So yeah, general contractors provide a service that is taking people's finances and wisely spending it, basically, if you want to boil it down. It goes much deeper than that, but on the surface level, that's what it really is. And your goal is to guide the client through the construction process, and that can be done through the schedule. You can build a schedule, and it holds you accountable. It sets an expectation for the client, and with that schedule, it will change, but you will know variables that you're working within. So if you have hard deadlines to a project, like let's say somebody wants the project done by Christmas, well, great, there's a deadline, and you have to create that schedule to fit that deadline and give them the expectation. Maybe that isn't even possible, and you need to tell the person that up front. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. Obviously, they want you to just create magic and adhere to everything that they're expecting of you. But your job, and to come off as a professional, it's going to be more professional if you are able to really dial in the length of the project and tell a homeowner that this just isn't possible. I'll do the best that I can for you, and I'll try to overlap some people and get creative, but I just want to let you know that it's going to be very, very difficult for us to meet this by Christmas, if that's the goal. And so you need to walk the client through and this is a constant walk. They'll constantly be coming back to you and asking you, well, where are we at? How's the schedule looking? Are we going to meet this deadline? And then you're going to be coming to them, and you're going to say, hey, we had a hiccup here. We had a delay in a delivery. We just opened up this wall, and there's a whole bunch of rot. And boom, it can change the schedule just like that. And it's also good to set the expectation to the client for that as well. Because on paper, you can lay out an entire schedule that looks great. It's this person's going to come this day, they're going to finish, the next person's going to come, they're going to finish, and it looks great. But there is a lot of variables in construction, and especially if you're doing remodeling, that you just cannot account for, and you need to build some room in the schedule for that. Like I said earlier, if you are demoing a whole kitchen, let's say, for example, and you open up and there's termite damage, there's rot, the foundation's cracked, the roof is leaking, whatever, a million different things could happen that you can't see until you open up the walls. And so being able to, in those first meetings with your client, just sitting them down and having a real honest conversation with them and saying, hey, I'm going to lay this all out for you, and I just want to let you know that once we open up these walls, we might have to sit down and have another conversation because I don't have x-ray vision. I can't see everything that's going to happen. I can imagine with my experience what I'm probably going to run into, but you just never know at the end of the day, because let's just use remodeling for example, because this is more prevalent with remodels, is you don't know how many hands have been on this house. I mean, I live in an area where homes go all the way back to the 1600s. And it could be tens or hundreds of people that have touched these areas, and they might not have all been the most exceptional craftsmen out there. They could have been somebody that scabbed something together. It could have been a homeowner that just put something together really quick, or cut cut something that they shouldn't have cut and just covered it up for years, and you're the person that's going to find that. So reeling this back to the schedule, that's a core duty of the general contractor, is to build a schedule and set expectations for the client with that. Another thing that you need to do as a general contractor is building budgets and working within those budgets. And that's another thing for expectations. People might want to say, hey, I'm going to blow out the back of my house. We're going to put an addition on it. We're going to open up the primary bedroom. We're going to throw a bathroom in there, and we're going to do all this stuff. And they're going to say, I want it done for $200,000 or something. And you're going to tell them that we either can do that or we can't do that. And that might be the end of the story right there. You might not get the job because of that. But I'm here to tell you that it is never worth your time to take on a project that does not fit within a budget, a realistic budget. It is not worth your time. You're not going to make money at the end of the job. You're going to have sleepless nights, and you're going to be miserable. And then after the project's over, you're going to be kicking yourself because you're going to say, why did I even take this job? I could have been out looking for a million other jobs over this period of time, and I literally just wasted whatever months of my life working on this project and didn't even make any money. Made this person's dreams come true, and I didn't make a penny. And that's one of those tough failures that you'll have to learn, because it happens to everybody. But you'll grow from it if it does happen. But that's why I want to make these videos, is that if I could help one person from not having that mistake, then I think that's a good reason to have this out there in the world. So creating that budget, and all these talking points that I'm bringing up right now, in the series will go deep on each one of them, but on just the surface level things through this intro video is, like with the budget, you need to reel it in, you need to set an expectation, you need to see if the scope of work fits within that budget, and then you need to maybe manipulate it and say, we need to take this out, or we need to do this differently. This is how much money you have to actually buy your finishes and stuff if we want to do this all right. Do you have a cushion in your budget that if I do open up the wall and there's a bunch of rot, that you're going to be able to pay for it? Because that very well might happen. Setting all those things up front is just, you got to do it. You're gonna have an unsuccessful project if you are not on top of your budget before you even start the project. And so those are kind of the things with dealing with the client that are super important. You got to be able to manage the schedule, and you got to be able to manage their money. Another thing that deals directly with the client is how you present yourself as a general contractor. Who are the people that you're bringing into your project? Because as I for years was a jack of all trades, and I'm sure many of you can do many trades, but if you're really wanting to do this as a business and make good money at it, you just can't do it all yourself. You need to bring in professionals, and you need to have them do the work, and you need to manage their work. And when you bring in subcontractors, they're an extension of you. Even though they have their own businesses and they have their own ways of doing business, they're still, when they show up on your job site, they're an extension of you. The homeowner is going to look to you if they do anything wrong. If they show up dirty, if their vehicle is rusting or dripping oil in their driveway, they're not going to go to the plumber, electrician, whoever, and have a problem. They're going to go to you. They're going to say, why is there a big pool of oil in my driveway? And so it is so important. I could go on forever about subcontractors. That is the bulk of our business, if you're becoming a general contractor, is dealing with other trades. Bringing them in, scheduling them, paying them, managing them, giving them scopes of work, giving them agreements that they have to sign, basically contracts that they have to sign for the ways that you do business, how they show up on the job, how they interact with clients, things like that, insurances, permits, so many things that I could go into with subcontractors. But the main point that I want to drive home on this particular video is the fact that the subcontractor is an extension of the general contractor, and all your clients are going to be looking at you for who you're bringing in their house. And that's another thing, is that you're bringing these people into their home. And I don't know if they're going to be living in this home or they're moving out of the home during the duration of the project, but if you're not on site and you're bringing other people on site, you're trusting these people that you bring in to be respectful, maybe not use their toilets and have a temp toilet, to not steal anything from them, to not break anything. I mean, the list goes on and on. So there's just so much that you need to think about who you're bringing into your project, and are they going to fit within the budget? Are they going to fit within the schedule? Are they going to fit within your business's ethics and morals? And is your client going to be happy with who you're bringing into this project? If you're really looking to work on high-end projects, it doesn't matter how good the person is that you're bringing. If they're presenting themselves in a poor manner, it's going to affect the project. If they're coming in a rusty old beat-up pickup truck that's filled with scrap metal, the homeowner, it's going to put a poor taste in their mouth, even if the person's the best craftsman in the world. Unfortunately, that's the way this world works, is that they're going to look at that and they're going to say, why are you bringing this person into our project? This doesn't look very professional, and this is a reflection of you. You're not looking very professional. It's unfortunate, but that's just the fact of the matter, is that your clients are going to look at you that way. So reeling in subcontractors is huge. Managing them is a huge part of this business to be in. And a big part of that is building relationships. So if you're bringing in subcontractors, you're not always going to have a relationship with every trade. And relationships change. You might fall out with tradesmen. Let's just use plumbers, for example. You might have a plumber you've used for a year. He's great. Who knows? He might have something happen in his life, or a myriad of different things, and he starts acting different, and you might have to part ways. Unfortunately, that's the way this business is that people change over time, and if over time they don't fit into your business morals and ethics, then you gotta move on. And let's say that happens to you, and so then you need to find a new plumber. Well, you don't have a relationship with any other plumber, so then you got to start building a relationship with a plumber, and that starts with trust. And so how do you build trust? You meet the people, you bring them in, you walk them around, maybe you go get a drink with them, you do something to get them to know them on a person-to-person level, vet them out, and see if this person's going to actually follow the things that you want them to do within your business. And if that works out, then you bring them in, they do a good project for you, and you can move on from there and just build that relationship. But everything's about relationships in this business. You're not going to make it very far if you're burning every bridge, because people are going to not want to work with you. People are going to push you to the back of their list. They're going to mess with your schedule. They're not going to bend over backwards for you. They're not going to say, we'll still use the plumber. They're not going to tie into something that wasn't expected on a project and just do it because it's the right thing to do, and it might take them an extra 10 minutes. If you don't have a good relationship with these people, they're going to charge you. They're going to say, this wasn't part of the scope of work. I need to change this one fitting, and it's going to take me 10 minutes. Here's an invoice. And that happens too. That's fine. I don't have a problem with somebody bringing me more, having them come to me and ask for more money because there's more work. I'm not trying to say that here. Everybody should be making money, and their businesses should be thriving just as your business is thriving. But sometimes we all do stuff for each other that, you know, it's 10 minutes. I have a piece of something in my van. You know what, man, I'm just going to do it because you're going to bring me more work and we got a good relationship. And so I'm not even going to tell you, I'm just going to do it. And if you're constantly burning bridges with people and you're constantly bringing new people in, it's going to drive you nuts. You're going to get a call every 10 minutes, a text every night, emails every day that, oh, this changed, so it's going to cost this. This is wrong, so I can't do this. I'm going to have to come back another day because this is wrong. And it's going to make you pull your hair out. It's going to drive you nuts. So building those relationships and making sure that everybody's profitable and making money and happy is going to make projects go so much smoother. It's something that isn't easy. It's a very difficult process. People can be very frustrating. When you're a general contractor and you're bringing contractors in, it can be you're dealing with so many different personality types. You might have the friendliest person ever. You might have the most miserable person ever. People have bad days. People maybe underbid at a job of yours and they're not making money on your project and they're not happy about that, but they don't want to ruin a relationship with you, but you can tell that it's weird. It's just part of the business, and just trying to hone in and be able to talk to people, shake their hands, show up, smile, crack a joke. It's just part of the business. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to be a personable person. You got to be everything. If you want to be the owner of a general contracting business, you got to be able to sell people. You got to be able to talk to people. You got to be able to make people smile. You got to be friendly. You got to text and email a certain way. You can't just some problem happens and just instantly make a phone call freaking out. You got to digest it. You got to sit on it. You got to think about it for a minute and then send a message or a phone call or a text or an email or whatever it is, and just say it professionally that there is either an issue or there's a change or that you are unhappy that they're not showing up on time and they're messing with your schedule. There's a professional way to do it, and people will respect that instead of you just coming at them without thinking about what you said. I've done it a lot of times in the past where you're in the heat of the moment, you're dirty, you're having a bad day, you're getting 5 million phone calls, and then all of a sudden a pipe bursts or something and somebody cut through an electrical line, and you just want to snap. You just want to go at it and attack the person or whatever. Maybe attack's not the right word, but you want to just engage in that instantly. And I'm here to tell you, it's going to save you a lot of headache if you learn from the beginning to just digest stuff. Just internalize it for a little bit and then release it. It's just going to work out. It's going to pan out way better for you. So huge part of the business, building the schedule, building the budget, showing how professional you are, bringing your subcontractors in, building relationships with those subcontractors, and bringing a project from start to finish is you basically need to follow all those things. And something else that a general contractor does, and why people hire a general contractor, is because you also have probably a certain warranty that you want to give. Now, people typically do 1-year warranties. I've seen 5-year warranties. I've seen even 10-year warranties that people will do. And it entices people to choose you as their general contractor. If they're going to spend a little bit more money because you're a little bit more expensive than another general contractor, but they have a 1-year warranty and you have a 10-year warranty, that speaks volumes for the value that you're giving that client. They're going to be for 10 years, this person's going to come back and within reason, or any craftsmanship or workmanship that they put on this project, they're going to warranty that for 10 years. Not only is that great, and I don't have to worry about anything for 10 years, but I know they're going to do the job right, because they don't want to come back here every month for 10 years. They're going to take the steps and measures to make sure the project is done right. If you're given that big of a warranty, or even 5-year warranty is gigantic. people are gonna really resonate with the fact that you're doing the work correctly. Yes, it might cost more money, but they know that you're doing the work right because you're warrantying it for X amount of years. And not only that, but then they're also getting protected within your insurance too. So to be a general contractor, you have to carry a certain amount of insurance, and that insurance varies from state to state, and the people that are hiring you know that their project is insured. So let's say you accidentally burn their house down. Everything's insured. They're insured because they got homeowners insurance. You're insured because there was an accident on the job site. Everything's protected. I think I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here and talk a little bit about people or clients or homeowners, whoever, that want to manage their own projects. They get a harsh reality when they jump into something like this. It is not easy to manage a construction project. The years and years of knowledge that you need to have is one thing, but the years and years of just building stuff time and time again is a whole nother thing. And a lot of homeowners do not realize what comes along with having a construction project. It's not as easy as just like calling the plumber like, hey, can you come in? I need you to do the roof. And no, you need to bring them in. They need to look at the job. You guys need to communicate about what the scope of work is. You need to build a scope of work. You need to hold them to that scope of work. You need to manage them through the process. You need to communicate with them when a problem arises. And homeowners don't totally understand how deep that goes. It goes so deep. And I think what happens to a lot of people is they do this. They'll do a project on their own, and maybe they'll do it on a smaller scale. They'll do like a bathroom remodel. And they'll then realize like, oh my God, there's like 10 different subcontractors I'm bringing in here, and all the work is like happening so fast, and I'm not able to catch the things that they're doing wrong, and this was a nightmare, and the project didn't even turn out the way I hoped it to, and now it's all up to me to maintain this thing. There's only minimal warranties on everything from the subcontractors themselves, and there's nobody coming back here and checking in on me and making sure that everything's done right and up to a certain standard. I have my standard, but I'm not in the construction industry, so I don't know what even the general construction standards are. And after that, I think a lot of people either hear a horror story like that, or they went through one themselves, and that's when they finally reach out to a general contractor. And the general contractor adds all this value that we were talking about in this video, from building that schedule to determining a budget to bringing in professional subcontractors that they've already built relationships with, to protecting my project with an insurance, with their own insurance, and protecting my project for an extended amount of time with the warranty that they carry. And all those things that you bring to the table has a dollar value. And that's why there's businesses built around this industry, is because people are willing to pay for this service because it's very valuable and very sought after. And if you live in a bigger city area, you probably see how much construction goes on a daily basis. Massive amounts of construction happen. So for you to try to have no relationships with tradesmen and have your own project will really make it difficult for them to even adhere to a schedule, because you're one person that you're going to use them from one project, and you'll probably never talk to them for a very long time. Whereas general contractors, they're constantly bringing these tradesmen work over and over and over again. So you guys have a relationship. They're going to show up on time. They're going to do the job right. So sorry for the side tangent, but I think it was necessary to bring people to an understanding of why a homeowner even reaches out to a general contractor. because of the value that's involved in it. And on a different video, maybe we can talk about finances and what that value holds. It's different, obviously, city to city, state to state, different areas, but generally people can charge a pretty good amount of money, and there's different structures of how to charge people money and different types of projects like cost plus or a fixed bid, or and you have markups on things and like that. And I think there will be a lot of value for people who are wanting to start out in this industry. How do I price my project? How am I gonna not get burnt on my first project? How do I even price this thing? I don't know. I know how much I want to get paid per hour. Maybe that's what people think, and there's just so much more to that. You got to stop thinking on a per hour basis. You need to think of gross profit for a project, and you need to track that throughout the project. And there's many ways to do that as well. So we'll talk about that in a further episode. And I think I can add a lot of value to that, and people who are starting out in this industry could really get a good leg up on their competition if you can start out just knowing a few of these really simple things. It's not very difficult. It's just you need the knowledge to do it, and the confidence to approach a homeowner and ask for that money. It's not easy, but if you're confident, people will realize that, and they'll give you the money that you're asking for because they feel confident that you're going to do it right, and you know what the cost is, and you're not going to keep coming back and asking for more money. So we hinted on this earlier in the video, is that you got to talk to the homeowner about budget. And to a degree, we can all create a budget. You can get your subs bids. You can think through all the time that it's going to take to do each individual task. But at the end of the day, no matter how much time that you spend building that budget, there's going to come things on the project that you just didn't know was going to happen. Like I said, you open up a wall and there's rot or infestations or foundation cracks or whatever, and what do? You prepped them in the beginning. You told them we might come to this fork in the road at some point. Well, now what do? And you do what they call in this industry, you give them a change order. There's a change to the scope of the work of the project, and you write out the change for the scope of work, and you present that to the homeowner and say, this is going to be the cost for me to fix this thing that we did not foresee, and I just need you to sign this. And we can figure the payment structure can be different for different situations, but you basically give them a change order to the change to the scope of work. And the change orders in this industry are one of the most important things to a successful project. If you don't get on top of them as soon as possible, if you don't make sure the homeowner approves the change order and you figure out a payment structure for that change order, it's going to be a huge problem. And if you see issues in the work that's happening, let's say you find the rot, if you don't bring it to the homeowner, or you just gloss over it and you just want to cover it up, it's going to lead to a million headaches, let me tell you right now. Because if you're doing things right and you're warrantying your work, well, now you're warrantying work on top of something that you know is wrong. And so that gives you some leverage when you are talking to the homeowner. You can say, hey, I found this rot, and for me to warranty this project and give you the product that you're asking for, I have to fix this. I cannot warranty my project if we don't fix this. And people, you might be cornering them some way a little bit, or catching them off guard in some way, but that's just how it is, basically. But I can tell you right now, they're going to appreciate the fact that you found something, you went over to them, you took them over, maybe you even had them look at it, and you had a discussion about it, and you made them realize that this is something that needs to be fixed. They're going to think you're more professional. They're going to be happy that you're looking out for their home and their project. And they're going to be way less likely to dispute you on the price of what it costs to fix it. And then also, the price isn't going to be that bad because you're already there doing the work. And you probably already have all your tools out. You probably just need a little bit more material, and it's not a huge deal. People are going to appreciate that. Whereas if you push it off, now all the tools are out, maybe a different subcontractor's in there, now they're complaining about it. Now you're coming to them at a different time, and they're going to look at you and be like, why didn't you bring this up to me a couple weeks ago? Like, why are you bringing this up to me right now? This is crazy. And you're going to be in a panic, like, we have to fix this right now. You just never want to be in that situation. You want to open something up, find the issue, go right to the homeowner, get the change order, have them approve it, fix the problem. It's as easy as that, but it's not that easy. You got to be very good at communication, and you might be a very good communicator, that's great, and you might have to build that over time. But you just got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to have no fear, and I'm going to talk to this homeowner today about this issue that I found. No matter what the outcome is, I'm going to look them in the eyes, and I'm going to tell them this is where we're at. I'm going to tell you right now that it's going to work out for you if you do that. People are going to appreciate that. People just want the hard truths. They want to be told the hard truths. And so I think in this video we've kind of encapsulated what being a general contractor is, just the basics of it, the profitability of it, your purpose in the world of your client. So let's go a little bit deeper on how do you even become a general contractor? What does it take? Like, what steps do you have to take to become one? Where do I start? And like I started in the beginning of this video, I was in the same shoes as maybe somebody like you who is not a general contractor and is wanting to become one. It's super difficult to find resources. You might not have anybody in your life who is one. You might not have gone to college. Let's just say you're a carpenter. You're a carpenter, you love the industry, you go to work every day, you're killing it, you're learning more, but you want to make more money. You want to do bigger things. And you're like, this is my goal. I want to be a general contractor. That's where I was. There's not a lot of resources out there. So hopefully I can provide a little bit of value and give you a little checklist of things that you're going to need to do to become a general contractor. And so the first thing that you need to do is you need to look at your state's needs or whatever from you. Sorry, the word's escaping me right now. I don't even know what to call it. The expectations or whatever. What the state expects of you to become a general contractor. Let's just go with that. My state, for example, I need to be licensed. Well, what does it take to become licensed? I needed to have a contractor's license, and you need to take a test. Most states are going to make you do that, not all of them. Most states are going to make you take a test that prove that you're competent. Also, with taking that test, you need to have some sort of proof that you've been in the construction industry for X amount of time. So maybe you're 2 years into being a carpenter and your state requires you to have 3 years of verifiable work experience. Well, you got a year to learn all this stuff and get all your ducks in a row before you become a general contractor. So you're going to have to get licensed. You're going to have to then figure out what entity that you want to put your business into. There's a lot of entities out there. I'm not giving any legal advice here, but I currently run my business under an LLC, which is a limited liability company, and so it holds protections for me personally. The business if the business did something to where a homeowner wanted to come after me for some sort of money or assets, they can't come for me personally. They can come just for my business. So anything that's linked to my business, that would be open season for them. They could take finances. They could take any assets like vehicles or structures or anything like that. If I did something that they thought was wrong and they were suing me, they could sue you. And so you want to protect yourself from a lawsuit. A limited liability will help you with that. There's other structures like corporations. You can incorporate your company, and it has very similar things to a limited liability company, but it has more of like a business structure. You have actual like people like a CFO, a CEO, and things like that built into it. And there might be reasons with finances. You can move money easier within that entity. You're able to give shares of the company to certain amounts of people. So if you have business partners, those are really good. You can 50% of the company goes to your business partner, 50% goes to you. You work within that. It goes so much deeper than this. This is, like I said, just surface level. But I would advocate for people to probably stay away from just like a DBA, doing business as, because they don't really protect you from, if somebody wants to sue you, they're going to sue you. And they're going to go, let's say you have a family, they can take a home away from your family and assets away from your family. So you don't, if on the scale of a general contractor and how much you're putting yourself on the line, you don't want to set yourself up to where people can actually go for your own personal assets. That's going to be an absolute nightmare, and I feel bad for anybody who's actually had that happen to them, because that can just totally destroy somebody's life and their family's life as well if you don't protect yourself. So figure out the licensing that you need for your state, pay all the fees and stuff for that, and then get a business structure. Once you get your business structure figured out, you're going to have to you're going to have to go with the IRS and get an EIN, and it's basically just a tax number. Once you get that, then you can open up a business account, like a checking account or something, because you need that tax ID number. And you now got a business, you got a bank account, you got the licenses. Now, the last thing that you're going to need mainly is your insurance. So you need to figure out what forms of insurance you need. If you do just a specific line of work, then you can maybe have a cheaper form of insurance. If you're a general contractor and you're encapsulating a lot of work within your projects, then you're probably going to need a little bit more insurance to cover anything that may happen. Speak about insurance for a minute here too. We can reel it back to the subcontractors and having subcontractor agreements. This is why you want to vet your subcontractors. You want to get their proofs of insurance, and you want to make them sign agreements with you saying that that they will insure their work and things and the hazards from the project that may be their fault. If they are like, let's just stick with the plumbers. If they're, sorry plumbers, but they're soldering some copper lines and they light the house on fire, I mean, that would fall under their insurance. They lit the house on fire. That should not be your fault. But you still need to be insured and protected and have somebody in your corner protecting you. You want to have an agent from your insurance company communicating back and forth with their insurance company and making sure that everything T's crossed and I's dotted. So you got your license, you got your business bank account, you got your entity of your business, you've got your insurance, and then the rest that you need is just like maybe a vehicle. Get a vehicle. It doesn't have to be a work vehicle. You can do general contracting and not use one power tool if you don't want to. You can drive around in a Ford Focus, for example, if you really wanted to, and subcontract every part and piece of that project out. So if maybe you're in a financial position where you can't afford a work vehicle like a van or a truck or something like that, that's a way to go in the beginning. Make some money. Start with just subbing everything out, and then once you accrue a little bit of money, purchase a vehicle, and then maybe you can do a couple things in-house. Maybe you can hire an employee that does like general carpentry tasks and management tasks and cleaning up stuff on the site, and then you can scale from there. And but it all depends on what you want to do with your business. Is that the type of business you want? Do you want to just sub everything out and just be a management business and just manage projects and make markups and money off of that? Do you want to be partially craftsman and craft parts of the project and sub the other parts out that need different types of licenses, like electricians or plumbers or HVAC? Those are things to think about. And then what you're also going to want to do is figure out some form of bookkeeping. Now, if you have the finances up front to just hire a bookkeeper and have them track your finances, then go for it. It will take a burden off of you and put it onto somebody else, and they're probably almost 99% of the time going to do it better than you anyways. But if you don't have the finances to do that and you just want to get a monthly subscription to something, what I have used is QuickBooks. You can have that linked to your bank account, and every transaction that's going through your bank account will be sent into QuickBooks, and then you can categorize each transaction. You can send estimates, invoices, and different things like that. I mean, there's so much to it. That's just breaking the surface, but you're able to at least record the money, because you have to follow the money and you have to track it, because if you're going to want to be a professional in this business, you got to file your taxes, and you want to get all the credits that you possibly can. You want to be able to write off all the subcontractors that you're paying. You want to be able to make some business purchases that you can write off or depreciate. And the only way that you're effectively going to be able to do that is if you're following and categorizing every single transaction that you make, down to buying some screws at Home Depot. It's going to be the best way to protect your business from going under financially, is to be on top of the money. Maybe further down the road, another thing that you might want to do is invest in a project management software. There's a lot of good ones out there nowadays. One that I've been very familiar with is Buildertrend. Buildertrend is pretty awesome. I mean, you can track everything from daily logs to sending invoices out to clients, putting them on a weekly pay schedule, having a schedule built. You can have it on a calendar or a Gantt chart and going through that. And there's so much more stuff. You can even track your budget, have it broken down into cost codes like plumbing, carpentry, roofing, and have the actual prices and how much it's costing you, all the bills that you're paying, and having it go right towards each one of those cost items. And you can even, at least I know on that platform, you can export the budget onto an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can even manipulate the budget on that Excel spreadsheet and forecast what the costs of these projects are going to be, and it won't manipulate Buildertrend at all. Like, you can leave it, export all the data, do your work on a different platform, and track it and follow it, and then it's not affecting the actual numbers and figures in Buildertrend. So I think that's a pretty cool thing that they do. And so since I brought up Microsoft Office, that's another thing that you're going to want to get, is some form of being able to write your contracts out, send proposals, write letters, create spreadsheets, have emailing software. So you can purchase the whole package and have it just on one device, or you can pay like a monthly subscription and be able to use it on multiple devices. Depends on what you want to do. I think the most cost-effective thing in the beginning is to just purchase for one device. If you got a computer or a laptop or something, just purchase it for that device and just use it until you're ready to transfer over to maybe a subscription and being able to use it and allowing other employees to use it potentially. That's something definitely to think about. But I think at least in this video, I've been able to just kind of give you just a sneak peek at what it is to become a general contractor, what it is being a general contractor, and what things and steps you can take to become one. And I can go further into each one of these talking points, and I will in the episodes to come. And I think that there'll be a lot of value if I can just deep dive into each one. But I really would like to know down in the comments below, just leave a comment. Let me know if this brought you any value, and then also if there was any talking point within this video that you want me to go a little bit deeper on, and we can make another episode out of that. Please share this with anybody that you know, because I really want to put this out into the world and have people ultimately just gain value from this. That's really what I want. I want to give people value. I want to help people who are struggling to take that next step into becoming a general contractor. And then also, if you could hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. It just helps the algorithm for YouTube to send me out there in different directions and help build this channel. And the more that this channel builds, the more value that I can bring to all you guys. And that's ultimately what I want to do. So stay tuned for the next episode. I'm going to probably go into a deeper dive onto the schedule and how to schedule a project and what it takes to work within that schedule. And then after that video, probably jump into budget, because I think those are the two main things that people really need to get a grasp on if they want to get in this industry. Is you got to create schedules and adhere to them, and you got to create budgets and adhere to the budgets. You're going to not be successful if you can't do those two main things. So like I said, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and catch you on the next one.